All right, everybody. 93. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. My name is Frater Paradosis 951, and I'm coming to you today to bring forth a fresh perspective on the chakras. Man, I have read into this subject. I have seen people teach on it. I've seen healers interact with me, and man, I just think there's some things that need to be addressed. This is actually a book that I'm writing. Do chakras really exist? And I think it's a very valid question because tons of people are talking about them. It's the latest New Age fad, and there's all kinds of diagrams and charts with colors, and people attribute this to be from India, to be teaching from that land. And, well, you've probably been in a situation where somebody whispers, and then you're all in a circle, and basically what the person originally said came back around, and it ended up being totally different. And so that's the way esoteric teachings get handed on through generations, is they get diluted. And so the same goes for the Kabbalah. Any tradition, any religion, that happens. It's that principle that a message gets diluted the more it's passed along, because people are choosing to either not listen or they're interpreting it and favoring their interpretation and then passing that along. So we can't help that. This is just the way it is. So the odds that a current chakra teaching system is the same as what was originally taught is very slim to none. And I don't care how great the guru is from India that you've been talking to, it's been diluted. However, I do want to address some things that I have some high encouragement over. And here's what I want to do. I want to put forth a challenge to you. I want to put forth a challenge to read two unrelated books. One is called The Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ, and the other is Thoth Tarot by the Master Therion, otherwise known as Aleister Crowley. And the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ is by Levi H. Dowling, and curiously enough, he officially copyrighted and made public the book in 1907, which was the same year that Crowley had established the Astrum Argentum, which is called the AA often. And supposedly the Astrum Argentum is the modern day impartation of the masters. So basically, Aquarian Age masters had assisted Crowley being one of the masters, to bring forth a system of initiation to bring people to enlightenment. Well, it just so happens that Levi H. Dowling somehow got so acquainted with the spirit of supreme intelligence that he calls the Holy Spirit, or Holy Breath, that he was able to read what's called the Akashic Records. And the Akashic Records basically is a record of every thought, word, and deed that has ever been done, which means that he was able to peer into the life of Jesus and his collaborators and the other masters that helped initiate him to become the Christ of the Piscean Age. In this book, we get a sneak preview of the past on how Jesus and the other masters prepared the world for the age of Aquarius. And if you read the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ and you read the Book of Thoth, you're actually going to discover that there is a universal truth that comes forth that is quite surprising. And just to give you a sneak preview, the Fool card, which corresponds to the Hebrew letter Aleph, it talks about the black egg of Akasha. And it does have an image of a being juggling different elements. Not the same as the juggler card or the magician card, but they're very similar. And the Fool card does have the images of the 4 elements. So I have done some studies into the 4 elements. I believe wholeheartedly that fire corresponds to the sense of the future, water corresponds to the sense of the past, the air corresponds to the sense of the present, and the earth corresponds to the sense of the timeless. So when all 4 of those are in harmony with each other, we have the unified, harmonious sense of the past, present, future, and timeless, all here and now. And so Levi H. Dowling, he claimed to tap into the timeless and basically was led into some mysteries, and he studied Kabbalah. If you do research on Levi H. Dowling, he actually was part of the Theosophical Society, which Madame Blavatsky, I think I pronounced her name correct, Madame Blavatsky, and she was part of the Theosophical Society and also an initiate in Lester Crowley's Astrum Argentum, the AA. And so when you start tracing these things together, you're going to find a bizarre thread that unifies truth in a very strange way. So with this bizarre, strange study in mind, keep in mind that the age of Aquarius is meant to be a bizarre age. It's not meant to be predictable. It's supposed to have spontaneous mystery come forth to bring forth fresh revelation. How do I know that? Well, study the sign of Aquarius in general. Study how Uranus rules Aquarius, and you'll see what I mean. Read a book called The Rising Sign by Gene Avery that goes into the different astrological houses and the Aquarian rising sign, so you can discover how the energies of Aquarius are supposed to function. And so this age is meant to have surprises. It's meant to go outside the norm of established expectations. So whatever your expectation is, whatever your dogma is, whatever you really thought you knew, the age of Aquarius is going to blast that, evolve it, and bring you into a whole new realm of understanding. And with that said, I'm going to introduce to you my perspective, my window, my universe of the chakra revelation, which all comes down to the 7 planets. And the 7 planets are in the Kabbalah, and also they have correspondence in the Thoth Tarot with specific cards. So in this video, I'm just going to mention each planet and the Kabbalistic symbol, and I'm going to correspond a little bit to the body. So Saturn is the Lord of Time. That's where our hair is at. Also, this is the whole body, actually, I believe is connected to Saturn at the crown. And so, but time, everything having to do with time is associated with the crown. So the next is the sun, the head, the sun, the appearance of a person. And the sun would be representing everything that's in the light. So the Akashic record, your own Akashic record would be here. This is your intuition when you come to an awakening, an understanding of your present state. Then you resurrect. You find a thread between your past, present, and future self, and then you acquire a sense of the timeless. So the sun is the head. Well, the planet Mars is the mouth. Right? I correspond this to the entire throat area with the mouth, because it is with words that we blast the ego. It is with words that we speak from the ego often. And it is with words we war. I wholeheartedly believe that what defines humanity is this chakra, the fifth chakra, so that man truly is Mars. We are the god of war. And so below that is Jupiter. From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Jupiter is the planet of abundance. And with that in mind, let's go down to Venus. Venus is the Garden of Eden, the goddess of beauty, art, and music. It's where the rib cage is at. This is where the legend of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden with the rib being taken out. So basically, this has to do with truth beyond thought's reach, where outside of humanity fantasized, humanity dreamed, and separated ourselves from ourselves. And with the rib cage, there is a sense of protection as well, but this gets deep into a lot of things that I'll cover someday. And then below that is the moon. Well, the womb, the moon, the womb. This is where ideas are conceived. So we all have a womb in our soul. And then below that is Mercury. Mercury is the god of communication. And if you've ever studied how the signals from the brain to the spine base work, it happens like lightning. It's fast, but actually a signal is sent down first to the spine base, then communicates with the whole body. So literally my hand gestures are happening because of my spine base. Literally the communication going on. And with paralysis, of course, there's going to be some issues with bodily communication, but still the brain tries to send those signals there first for feedback loop. And so, now I'm going to admit I'm not an expert on that subject, but I have studied it a little bit. And so there you have it. There's the 7 planets in humanity. And this is something through deep meditation from years, going back from the year 2000. And then 2004, I got introduced to Frater. Back in the year 2000, I was introduced to the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. And from meditation upon the tarot cards and the Kabbalistic correspondences of the planets and the symbolic meanings, and then also each chapter in the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ is the 22 letters, Hebrew letters. And I have discovered that there are correspondences with the trump cards of the tarot. So, man, this is going to be exciting. Writing this book is going to be so exciting. It's mainly been in my mind, and I just have been thrilled to bring it forth, because what it is going to do is it's going to blast away all that you thought you knew, but it's also going to give you a springboard to where you can bounce off of that and then create your own fresh paradigm of the chakras and anything else that you consider to be on your quest for truth. So, just like the Thelemic community says, which integrates with the Thoth Tarot, they say, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And they also say, love is the law, love under will. And I do say that to you, but I also want to mention that the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ says that there is a law for every age. Jesus said this actually, that there is a law for every age. And he mentioned the law for the age of Pisces, which I believe, if I have this correct, is do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or whatever that phrase is. But in the age of Aquarius, it has become apparent to me that the new law is do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. So, a lot to think about, and I just wish you much success in your studies and enjoyment to come to your own understanding of the truth.